This brings us to the next section, which is daily accountability and discipline, which is really the fuel that will help us get all this process to work together. This is where I'm expecting leaders to scrutinize on a daily basis. Again, it won't work unless you do it. Have your checklist. We talked about Gemba Walk, but we're going to talk a little bit about daily stand-up meeting, which is another great way of enforcing that you have communications, you have built-in processes where you can coach and mentor. The stand-up meeting is a huddle meeting. It can be various forms. You could have the actual team leader meeting with production at the beginning of the day. You can call it a startup meeting. You can have the team leaders meet together. You could have the manager meeting with team leaders, and you can have a plant manager meeting. All those are different types of huddle meetings that you can have. But there's one characteristic about the huddle meeting that we want to have, is that they should be conducted daily, and it should be short, 15 minutes or less. How many have a daily production meeting? How many have it 15 minutes or less? Great, excellent. How many have it in an hour? Because we have meetings for an hour, okay? Production meetings every day should last no more than 15 minutes. It should be done standing up. If you have a meeting standing up, it'll last shorter, okay? One quick trick. But you're getting everybody focused on the meeting, get the issues done, and go out and get to work, okay? Conducted at Gemba. These boards are set right at the cell level, so a team leader should have it right there in his cell, and I would say that the production staff should have it at Gemba or as close by as Gemba as possible, instead of in a conference room. And you can meet around a board, and then your agenda is the visual schedule here. It should tell you on the board what we need to talk about. It's a daily process, and you want to look at what was happening in our process yesterday and what's going to happen today. And you want to talk about how you're going to do to improve the process. So those are the two elements you want to include. It's communication. So your process status is what's the data about the current process. Did we make rate yesterday? Do we have issues that we didn't meet TAC time? What were our quality issues? Assignments, tasks that would be involved in activities of making improvements. So-and-so is going to be assigned to work on this. We've got IT helping us here. We need engineering to help us here. Those are things that should be mentioned. And then follow up on past activities. Someone was supposed to do something last week. What's the status on it? So those are quick things, all done within 15 minutes. Typical agendas. I always like to teach, start out with safety. Safety should be the very first question you ask in a huddle meeting. Were there any accidents, incidents yesterday? And then were there any near misses? So we want to make sure that that's known first. Labor plan, who's here, what's our assignments? Again, what are our quality issues? You may want to report about the productivity metrics, update the team on the schedule. This is what we need to do today. This is what's coming up. So any information that they need to do, their schedule for the day. Team members can raise up questions, and then you have a section where you talk about any improvements. Now, this is not a meeting that you can solve problems in. It's a simple, quick communication meetings, 15 minutes or less, go out and get to your work areas. You save all the improvement stuff for other activities. Remember, you have Kaizen time in your schedule now, so you would save those activities for then. Here's a typical team production board. It's simple, it's effective, and it's short, and they're adding more visuals as they need them. These team boards will change as your focus on the process changes within the area, but it's nice to huddle around one board so you can use that as your agenda board, and you post things so people can come by and see it. This is one that's a little fancier, but it's done in sales and marketing. Yes, sales and marketing has their own boards. They have a huddle meeting every day. These are the contracts that are coming up. These are the sales calls that we need to do. This is the marketing plan that we're working on this project. Everything's visual. So they have a 15-minute stand-up huddle meeting to talk about their plan. And the cool thing about this one, it's set up in a public area close to Gemba, not in the corporate manufacturing, sales, and marketing office. So any one of us could walk by and see what's up with sales. It becomes more transparent. That's why we like to have them set up by Gemba. So our challenge is that we need to be really disciplined to adhere. So I've filled a lot of information to you this morning about how to set up your schedules, now what a Gemba walk is, the daily huddles, bless you, the daily huddles and setup. That's a lot of new things that you weren't used to before or may not be used to. Now we have to have the discipline. Now, if we don't have this management system in place with all these elements, I will say you have a 100% chance of failing in lean. Yeah, you may have some tools. You may be doing some good things. You may actually get some results, but your system will fall apart, especially if one particular champion in your company that's leading the effort, they leave your company. Then what happens to your lean effort? Or you get a new president of the company says, yeah, I'm not going to do that lean stuff. What happens to your lean approach in your company? Falls apart. So it takes a lot of discipline to follow through on this. So we need to be very insistent on following the process, consistent and persistent. One last element to really look at, and we talked about the listening and the asking questions. These visuals are very good to see the actual and the current, but you need to use this as your coaching and mentoring tool to find out what your questions should be and listening. I gave you some great questions as a help guide. These are some questions I like to ask. Now, you certainly should have your own questions. These are the kinds of questions you should be now adding to your vocabulary. Why? Why is this way? Why are we doing it that way? Why did this happen? Ask the 5 whys. What have you learned? What would you learn if you did this or if you did that? What do you think? What's the standard? What is the function here? What are we trying to do here? What is the value added? What interrupts our flow? Are the actions that we're doing consistent with our words? Are we talking lean or are we doing lean? What can we do to improve the current condition? What did you do today to develop others? And how can we make this abnormal condition more visible? How can we make our visuals better? And what questions do you have? Those are things you can ask. And certainly, this is not a complete list. But these are the type of open-ended, thought-provoking, lean-orientated, leadership-building questions you should now incorporate into your plan. You can actually carry around your own card. Create your own card for your Gemba walk so you can remember some of these. Because it's hard to really start putting these into practice when you're not used to it. So make up your own little cheat checklist of questions I need to ask and pull it out and carry it with you. That'd be very helpful. So remember, you're more than a teacher. You're a coach, a model, and a mentor. You should come in every day saying, how can I coach people? How can I mentor them? And as lean leaders, what can we start doing? Standardize what you look for in the shop floor. Focus on the visuals to make sure that they are helpful. Look at how you use them. Are we using visuals where they're not helpful? What is the quality of our visuals? Are we getting information up to date in real time? Are we growing leaders with thorough understandings of the work? And are we living the philosophy and teaching it to others? Straight out of the Toyota way. Remind ourselves every day that that's what we need to do as our role of leaders. And then the last thing is we lead by example. We need to show them your backs. What do I mean by show them your backs? Lead from the front. Okay? How you act and how you portray yourself is your power of example. Everybody has it. You don't have to be a president of the company. You don't have to be the plant manager. Every one of us has the power of leading by example. People look up to us. Remember, how did people learn to be leaders? You look to people ahead of you. You look to your boss. So you're setting an example to others of how to be a lean leader. So use that power to help teach others. And if you want to show them that we want to be a very cost-conscious company, well, act that way. If you want to show them that we're interested in problem solving, act that way. If you're interested in wanting to develop leaders, act that way. Use your example. That's your power. Okay, in summary, we now have a clear expectation of what it means to be a leader. Remember, it's focused on the process. We want to also develop people, look at our behaviors, focus on what we want people to do and not do from a lean point of view. And we want to be able to see what people are doing, make it visual. If you have those elements of auditing, you have those elements of problem solving, you have those elements of focusing on the process, you have that built into your schedule, you make it visual, you mentor and coach it, that's what we mean by a leader in lean and standard work for leaders.